"Mr. President," a small voice called out from the back of the crowd, "can you save my family?" He never imagined that a little boy's question could change so much. It was a brisk fall afternoon in the small town of Willow Creek, where the streets were lined with old oak trees shedding their golden leaves. Toby, only 7 years old, stood near the town square, his small hands clutching a folded piece of paper tightly. His family's home was on the verge of foreclosure, a fact that had cast a shadow over their once happy household. His father, Mike, had lost his job at the local factory months ago, and his mother, Sarah, worked extra shifts as a cleaner to keep them afloat. Despite their best efforts, the bills kept piling up, and Toby could see the worry etched on his parents' faces every day. The news had spread like wildfire through Willow Creek. Donald Trump, the incoming president, was making a surprise visit. The town had never hosted someone so prominent, and the air buzzed with excitement and speculation. Some townsfolk were thrilled, eager to catch a glimpse of the billionaire businessman turned president, while others were skeptical, unsure why Trump had chosen their quiet town for his visit. Toby didn't fully understand the politics or the debates, but he knew that Trump had the power to make things better or worse. As he stood there, watching the crowd gather, Toby felt a flicker of hope. Maybe, just maybe, this was his chance to ask for help. As the afternoon sun dipped lower, the town square filled with people. A line of black SUVs rolled in, and Trump emerged, surrounded by his security team. Cameras flashed, and reporters shouted questions. The crowd erupted in cheers, but Toby remained focused on his mission. He couldn't let fear stop him. His family needed help, and he had to try. Trump began to speak about the importance of family and community, his voice carrying over the crowd. Toby felt a surge of determination. He edged closer to the stage, weaving through the legs of taller strangers. His heart pounded in his chest, and his fingers tightened around the paper in his hand. Then, in a moment of impulsive bravery, Toby stepped forward, raising his voice above the din. "Mr. Trump!" he called out, his voice wavering but clear. Trump turned, a flicker of surprise crossing his face as he spotted the small boy standing alone in the crowd. Security guards moved to block Toby's path, but Trump held up a hand, signaling them to let him through. Toby's breath caught as he approached, the crowd falling silent to watch this unexpected interaction. "What's your name, son?" Trump asked, kneeling down to Toby's level. "Toby," he replied, his voice barely above a whisper. Trump took the paper from Toby's hands, reading the simple, desperate message. "Will you save my family?" His expression softened, and for a moment, it seemed like he was truly listening. Toby continued, his voice cracking. "My dad lost his job, and my mum can't pay the bills anymore. We might lose our house. I don't know what to do. Please, can you help us?" Trump looked around the square, the weight of the question evident in his eyes. He placed a hand on Toby's shoulder and said, That's a tough one, kid. I can't promise miracles, but I do hear you. We need to make sure families like yours get the help they need." Cameras clicked, capturing the sight of Toby's trembling figure and Trump's grave expression. Reporters tried to get more details, but Toby was already backing away, heading home with hope warring against doubt in his heart. Later that night, Toby's parents saw the footage on TV. "Oh my gosh," his mum whispered, tears sliding down her cheeks. "You were so brave." His dad looked stunned, then grateful. Yet the next day, he was back to job hunting, and the foreclosure, no, Ticey's kept coming. Toby wondered if his question mattered at all. But things began to shift. Neighbours, moved by Toby's plea, showed up with groceries, small donations, and job leads for his dad. A local charity called, offering to help. The bank wasn't lenient yet, but at least the family had food on the table. Toby's dad picked up part-time work at a friend's carpentry business, though it wasn't nearly enough to cover everything they owed. But it was a start. Toby saw the change in his parents' demeanour. Their smiles were returning, and the constant tension in their home was easing. Then, almost 2 weeks later, a letter arrived from a philanthropic organisation inspired by Toby's story. They offered to cover a portion of the mortgage payments for the next 3 months and connect Mike with a job placement program that specialized in helping people re-enter the workforce after layoffs. Toby's parents were stunned, but relieved. It wasn't the complete solution they had hoped for, but it was a crucial step towards stability. With the charity's assistance, the Jones family began to see a glimmer of hope. Mike secured a temporary position at a local construction company, and Sarah's additional shifts became more manageable. The foreclosure was postponed, giving them time to catch up on their debts and rebuild their lives. Toby saw the change in his parents' demeanor. Their smiles were returning, and the constant tension in their home was easing. But life wasn't easy. The temporary support meant that they still had to work hard every day to keep their heads above water. The letters from the bank continued to arrive, each one more urgent than the last. Toby felt a mix of gratitude and frustration. He was thankful for the help, but frustrated that he had to watch his family struggle so much. He wondered if his question had made a difference, or if it had just highlighted the depth of their problems. Then, a few days after receiving the letter, another unexpected visitor came to their doorstep. A man in a neat suit introduced himself as someone from Trump's organization. "We've been following your story," he said calmly. "We believe in supporting families in need, and we'd like to offer additional assistance." Toby's parents exchanged looks of disbelief and relief. The man handed over more paperwork, explaining how the organization could provide further financial aid and connect Mike with a permanent job opportunity at a new factory opening in the next county. With this new support, the Jones family began to stabilize. Mike's new job offered a steady income, and Sarah's sewing business started gaining regular customers, thanks to the help of the philanthropic group. Toby's parents managed to catch up on their mortgage payments, and the fear of losing their home began to dissipate. Toby felt a sense of accomplishment, knowing that his brave question had set off a chain of events that saved his family from despair. Months passed, and the Jones family's life gradually improved. The house, once filled with worry and tension, now echoed with laughter and warmth. Mike's new job brought a sense of purpose back to his life, and Sarah's hard work paid off, allowing her to provide a more comfortable life for Toby. Neighbors continued to support them, and the sense of community in Willow Creek grew stronger. Toby often thought about that day in the town square, how his small voice had reached someone powerful enough to help. One evening, as the family sat down for dinner, Toby couldn't hold back his feelings any longer. "I was scared," he admitted, looking at his parents. "I thought we might lose our house forever." His mum reached across the table, taking his hand. "We were scared too, Toby, but we didn't give up. And neither did you." His dad nodded, adding, "Your question was brave, Toby. It showed us that even when things seem impossible, there's always a way forward if we keep trying and if we have people who care." Toby felt a warmth in his chest, knowing that his little act of courage had sparked something bigger than he had imagined. The community had come together to support them, and now, with the charity's help, they were finding a way to stay afloat. It wasn't just about one question or one person. It was about the collective effort of a town that refused to let a family fall apart. As the months turned into a year, the Jones family's situation continued to improve. The house was no longer at risk of being taken away, and the constant stress had lifted, replaced by a sense of normalcy. Toby still carried the note he had given to Trump, a reminder of the day his question changed everything. He hung it on his bedroom wall, a symbol of hope and the power of asking for help. One sunny spring afternoon, as the family enjoyed a picnic in their backyard, another letter arrived. This one was a formal acknowledgement from Trump's organization, thanking them for their courage and resilience. It included an invitation to speak at a community event about the importance of asking for help and supporting one another. Toby's parents decided to accept, seeing it as an opportunity to give back and inspire others who might be facing similar struggles. At the event, surrounded by families who had been touched by their story, Toby felt a surge of pride. He spoke about his experience, encouraging other children to be brave and ask for help when they needed it. The applause was heartfelt, and he saw tears of gratitude in the eyes of the audience. It was a moment of full circle, where his initial plea had not only saved his family but also inspired a wave of kindness and support within the community. In the end, Toby's story became a testament to the power of one voice, no matter how small. His simple question had broken hearts, not just of the powerful man who had met him, but of the entire town that had rallied around his family. It showed that compassion and community could overcome even the toughest of challenges, and that sometimes all it takes is a little courage to spark a miracle. For Toby, the memory of that chilly afternoon and his heartfelt question remained a beacon of hope, reminding him that even the smallest voice can create the biggest change when it speaks from the heart. Years later, the Jones family still lived in their yellow-painted house, which had become a symbol of resilience and community spirit in Willow Creek. Mike had advanced in his job, taking on more responsibilities and earning a steady income. Sarah's sewing business had grown, allowing her to hire a few helpers and expand her services. Toby had grown into a confident young boy, always ready to lend a hand to those in need. He often shared his story with friends, emphasizing the importance of asking for help and supporting one another. One crisp autumn evening, the town organized a celebration in honor of the Jones family's journey. Neighbors and friends gathered in the town square, sharing stories of how the family's bravery had inspired them to help others. Toby stood with his parents, feeling a deep sense of gratitude and accomplishment. As he looked around at the smiling faces and the warm lights of the festival, he realized that his small act of courage had truly made a difference, not just for his own family, but for the entire community. The story of Toby's question spread beyond Willow Creek, reaching other towns and inspiring similar acts of kindness and support. It became a reminder that even in the darkest times, hope and compassion could shine through, transforming lives and strengthening communities. Toby's experience taught him that no matter how small or powerless one might feel, the courage to speak up and ask for help could ignite a ripple of positive change. And so, the boy who once stood alone in a crowd, trembling with fear and hope, became a symbol of resilience and the power of a single voice. His family's home, though still modest, was filled with love, laughter, and the knowledge that they were never truly alone. Toby's question had broken hearts wide open, allowing empathy and unity to flood in, proving that sometimes the smallest voice can have the most significant impact. As Toby grew older, he carried the lessons of that day with him. He became an advocate for helping others, always encouraging those around him to reach out and support one another. Whether it was volunteering at local shelters, organizing community events, or simply being a listening ear for a friend in need, Toby embodied the spirit of compassion and courage that had saved his family. His story continued to inspire, reminding everyone that true strength lies in kindness and the willingness to help those who are struggling. In the final year of his high school, Toby's story had become a cornerstone of Willow Creek's identity. The town had adopted annual community service days in honor of the Jones family's courage, encouraging everyone to contribute in small but meaningful ways. Toby, now 16, had grown into a thoughtful and compassionate young man, often mentoring younger kids and leading local initiatives to support families in need. His relationship with his parents had deepened, built on a foundation of mutual respect and shared hardship. One spring morning, as the town prepared for the upcoming celebration, Toby received an unexpected call. The man who had visited their home months ago, representing Trump's philanthropic efforts, wanted to meet with them again. "We're hosting a special forum for community leaders," the man explained. "Your story has been instrumental in shaping our initiatives, and we'd like you to share your experiences and sights." Toby's parents were hesitant at first, but they agreed, seeing it as another opportunity to give back. The day of the forum arrived, and Willow Creek's community center was buzzing with anticipation. Families, local leaders, and representatives from various charities filled the rooms, all eager to hear from the Jones family. Toby felt a familiar mix of nerves and pride as he took the stage with his parents by his side. Mike spoke first, detailing the struggles they had faced and the ways the community had rallied around them. Sarah followed, highlighting the importance of empathy and proactive support. When it was Toby's turn, he stepped forward, his heart steady, but his voice tinged with emotion. "When I asked Mr. Trump to save my family, I didn't expect anything to change overnight," he began. "But what happened next showed me that one brave question can spark a series of events that bring people together. It's not just about one person's response, it's about the collective effort of a community that cares. As Toby spoke, the audience listened intently, many nodding in agreement and a few wiping away tears. His words resonated deeply, reinforcing the idea that even the smallest acts of courage could lead to significant positive changes. After his speech, the room filled with applause, and several attendees approached him and his parents with words of encouragement and offers to help others in need. After the forum, Toby's phone buzzed with messages from friends and strangers alike, sharing their own stories of struggle and hope inspired by his journey. He realized that his experience had touched more lives than he had ever imagined. The day had come full circle. What started as a desperate plea had grown into a movement of compassion and support, spreading far beyond Willow Creek. One evening, as Toby walked home under a canopy of twinkling stars, he reflected on the past few years. The challenges his family had faced had taught him invaluable lessons about resilience, empathy, and the power of a single voice. He thought about the day he had stood before Trump, the cold wind whipping around him, and the overwhelming sense of fear and hope that had driven him to speak out. It had been a defining moment, one that had reshaped not only his family future, but also the very fabric of his community. A few weeks before graduation, Willow Creek hosted a town hall meeting to discuss future initiatives for supporting struggling families. Toby was invited to attend as a guest speaker, representing the success of community-driven support systems. As he stood at the podium, looking out at the familiar faces in the audience, he felt a profound sense of responsibility and pride. "We've come a long way," Toby began, his voice strong and clear. "But there's still so much more we can do. It's up to each of us to look out for one another, to lend a hand when someone is in need, and to ensure that no family has to face their struggles alone. My family's experience taught me that even the smallest voice can make a big difference, and I believe that together we can create a brighter future for everyone in Willow Creek." The applause that followed was thunderous, and Toby felt a surge of hope, knowing that his message was being heard and embraced. The community's dedication to supporting one another had solidified, creating a lasting legacy of kindness and resilience that would continue for generations to come. As graduation approached, Toby was recognized not just for his academic achievements, but also for his contributions to the community. He was awarded a scholarship to a local college, where he planned to study social work, inspired by his own experiences and driven by a desire to help others in similar situations. His parents couldn't have been prouder, seeing their once struggling family now serving as pillars of strength and compassion within their community. The night before graduation, the Jones family hosted a small celebration in their backyard. Friends and neighbors gathered to honor their journey, sharing stories and laughter under the soft glow of string lights. Toby stood with his parents, reflecting on how far they had come. The house that had once been filled with fear and uncertainty was now a beacon of hope and community spirit. As the evening drew to a close, Toby's dad raised a toast. "To Toby," he said, his voice filled with pride, "for reminding us all that no one is too small to make a difference. Your courage and kindness have changed our lives and our community for the better." Toby smiled, feeling the weight of his journey lift as he looked around at the supportive faces of his neighbors and friends. He realized that his question to Trump had been more than just a plea for help. It had ignited a movement of empathy and solidarity that transcended politics and personal struggles. It had shown that when people come together, they can overcome even the most daunting challenges. The next day, as Toby walked across the stage to receive his diploma, he felt a sense of accomplishment and gratitude. The cheers from the crowd echoed in his ears, a testament to the power of community and the impact of a single brave voice. As he accepted his diploma, he glanced out at the sea of smiling faces, knowing that his story was just the beginning of a lifelong commitment to helping others and fostering a spirit of kindness wherever he went. In the years that followed, Toby's influence continued to grow. He returned to Willow Creek regularly, volunteering his time and expertise to support new initiatives aimed at preventing foreclosures and providing job training for those in need. His college studies in social work equipped him with the tools to make a real difference, and he approached each challenge with the same courage and determination that had once saved his family. One day, as Toby walked through the town square, now adorned with signs of ongoing community projects and flourishing gardens, he saw a young boy standing near a charity booth, holding a similar folded piece of paper. The boy's eyes were wide with fear and hope, mirroring Toby's own from years ago. Without hesitation, Toby approached him, kneeling down to meet his gaze. "Hi, Toby," he said gently. "What's your question?" The boy looked down, clutching the paper tightly. "Will you save my family?" he whispered. Toby smiled warmly, handing the boy a fresh piece of paper and a pencil. "Let's write it together," he offered, "and then ask for help." As they wrote, the cycle of compassion and support continued, each generation inspired by the courage of one little boy who dared to speak up. The legacy of Toby's question lived on, a testament to the enduring power of empathy, community, and the belief that even the smallest voice can spark the greatest change. And so, Willow Creek thrived, a beacon of hope and unity, where every family knew they weren't alone, and every voice had the power to make a difference. Toby's journey from fear to hope had not only saved his own family, but had also transformed an entire community, proving that true strength lies in kindness and the willingness to help those who need it most. The story of Toby and his family became a cherished tale, told and retold at community gatherings, inspiring countless others to reach out and support one another. It was a story that reminded everyone that sometimes all it takes is a single, brave question to open hearts, break down barriers, and create a world where compassion and unity prevail. As Toby looked back on his life, he realized that the most significant moments weren't the ones filled with grand gestures or public acclaim, but the quiet, heartfelt interactions that built a foundation of trust and support. He understood that leadership wasn't about power or authority, but about listening, understanding, and taking action to uplift others. And as he continued to advocate for those in need, Toby carried with him the enduring lesson that a single voice, when filled with honesty and courage, could indeed change the world.